Hello and welcome to a special webinar for our Amicus Premium Maintenance customers. The topic of this session is creating custom dashboards on Amicus Premium. Our guest speaker today is Jennifer Ramis, famous with an R, and she is with Affinity Consulting Group. Jennifer is the Director of Education for Affinity University, Affinity Consulting Group's online legal technology training division. She is a graduate of the Ohio State University with a degree in political science. Jennifer earned her law degree from Capital University Law School. Jennifer specializes in consulting and training on practice management software for law firms. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you, everyone, and welcome. As Diana mentioned, I have been an Amicus consultant for quite a while. I also like to point out that I was an Amicus attorney user as a practicing attorney and as a law clerk as far back as 1997. So I grew up in my professional career with Amicus attorney, which is why you will probably feel like I'm a bit of a cheerleader as I go through today's session, because I think that it is a fantastically powerful program, and most firms, even firms who have used the program for a long time, are really only using a fraction of the powerful features that are available to them. So today's topic is dashboards. Dashboards are an extension of dailies, and I was very thrilled with the introduction of dashboards for a couple of reasons. Many times when I go to law firms and I conduct Amicus attorney training, people understand how to do things. They understand how to create a contact and how to log a phone call and how to add a note and how to look up custom information. But they'll say to me sometimes when I'm about to leave, okay, but where should I be? Like when I come in the morning and I log into Amicus, what screen should I have up? Where should I be? Where should I spend my day? And I used to say to them, well, you know, wherever you want, because Amicus is really easy to navigate. I mean, you can get to any module that you need with 1 or 2 clicks. Don't worry so much about where you should be. Just know that it's easy to get wherever you need to go. But sometimes that was still frustrating for people because they might be the receptionist and they were in the file list and then the phone rang and someone asked to speak with an attorney and then they had to click to their calendar or what have you, and people still felt like they wished they had one-stop shop for those areas that they needed to access most frequently. And so when dashboards came out, I was thrilled because it really gives individual users the ability to create what I refer to as a snapshot of the information that they commonly refer to or the items that they are commonly needing to create new inside Amicus Attorney. So I'll go ahead and start sharing here again. So as I mentioned, dashboards are an extension of the dailies module. I consider them a quick reference or a snapshot for a particular user, and they're user defined. These are very important concepts. So you are probably, as Amicus users, familiar with the dailies module in Amicus. And I know you're looking at a PowerPoint now. There's only about 4 slides here. We are going to spend 99% of our time inside Amicus Attorney learning how to create dashboards. I have to use PowerPoint to stay organized and make sure I cover everything I promised to cover. So I'm just going to jump over into Amicus quickly. And I'm just in the demo database, the tutorial database. So all the information you see here is fake. But if I go over to my left-hand navigation pane and I click on my dailies module, you'll see over here on the left-hand side, I have a lot of options over here under dailies. One of the ones that you are probably most familiar with, the view in dailies that you are probably used to seeing, is either today's practice reminders, which is a very helpful view. It gives you your message of the day. It indicates if you have things on your to-do list that have been there for a long time. It tells you if you have deadlines today. Anytime you've set a reminder inside one of your files, like warn responsible lawyer if total time exceeds X number of hours, that reminder or that notice will come up in your today's practice reminders. It'll give you an indication if you have unposted time entries, etc. So practice reminders is a nice screen. I happen to, as a user, love today's overview because it showed me my appointments for the day, my to-dos that were on my to-do list for today, and a list of my outstanding communications. So as a user, I spent a lot of time in today's overview. Then they introduced dashboards, and I realized now I can put everything that I do in Amicus on one screen. Today's overview is fantastic, but what I really wish is that I had a spot where I could see my appointments for today, my to-dos for today, my communications for today, my time entries for today, and quick access to the date calculator because I use it 20 times a day. That's where dashboards come in. And let me just give you an example of a few dashboards that come installed for you right now out of the box. You already own them. If you click on your Dailies module and you look over here on the left-hand side, you will see that you have something called My Desktop 1 and My Desktop 2. These are hard-coded dashboards that are available for your use if you like what they contain. So let's start talking about what a dashboard can really contain. I'm going to click on the sample My Desktop 1. And what you'll notice here is that it looks a little bit like the Today's Overview because I've got my outstanding communications here, but I now have quick access to things that I used to have to navigate over here in order to access. The first thing you'll notice, and again, this is just an example of things that you can include on a dashboard. After I go through some of this general information, we're going to create a dashboard from a blank slate. But this is representative of the type of thing you can accomplish with a dashboard. I can have a list of my favorite files on my dashboard. Now, if you're not familiar with favorite files, it's a feature you've had for a while if you're on 2014. I mean, it's a very powerful feature that enables you to put files that are on your file list into what's called your favorites, and you should look into that feature if you aren't currently using it, because then you can see your favorite files from right here. What's great about the items that appear on a dashboard is that they are fully functional. They're dynamic. If I'm looking at my favorite files list inside my dashboard view, when I double-click on one of those files, it actually opens up the file for me. So you can use the dashboard as a launch pad for all of the things that you typically need to do inside Amicus Attorney. You'll also notice that, sorry, we're connected remotely and I'm in a demo system, so that took a few seconds to open. That's not typical, but I'll just go ahead and close out of the file. You can see that it opened up the file for me. I also have my favorite people. So we have the ability to put contacts in our favorites as well and then show our favorite contacts here on our dashboard. I can use the traditional Today's Outstanding Communications, so I can see emails or messages that have come in. And again, I can double click on any of these items and the record will open. I also have something that is very helpful here called the firm directory. This is not favorite contacts, but people in my firm. Now, I probably know the email address for most of the people in my firm, but oftentimes we struggle with what's their direct dial, what's their extension. I forget if Annabeth uses 1 or 2 N's in her name. The firm directory can be a really great quick reference for information that you very likely need throughout the day. You can see on dashboard 1 we have a reference calendar. So if I need to see what day a particular date falls on and I don't want to go to the calendar, I can go to my calendar here on my dashboard, and the toggles forward and backward a month work inside the dashboard. I also have something here called My Computer. One of the things that you can do inside a dashboard is link to a location, have it launch a program, point it to a particular website, and you're going to see all of those examples in action here in just a few minutes. So this is just, again, representative. And you own this right now. If you go into Dailies, and you're welcome to follow along in your own database while we do this. If you go into Dailies, you have a My Desktop 1 and you have a My Desktop 2. My Desktop 2 is just another example of the types of things that you can put on your dashboard. So for example, on My Desktop 2, I have a list of my to-dos. I have a list of my time entries for today. I have the ability to create a new to-do right from my dashboard. I have my clock. I have the ability to create a new appointment, and then we've repeated the communications list. So, really great quick reference snapshot of the items that you need to know about. So let's talk a little bit about how do I design a dashboard. Desktop 1 and Desktop 2, as I mentioned, come installed ready to go for you to use. They're hard-coded. You can't really do anything with them. But you can design your own dashboard. To do that, you access the Dashboard Designer from your Office Preferences. So in Amicus, you'll go to your Office module, Preferences. As you know, in Preferences, we have a section for nearly every module in the program. There's one called Dailies, and then you have something called Dailies Pages. So let's just jump right back into Amicus and walk through that. Office, Preferences, Dailies, Dailies Pages. And I have dual monitors, so that, of course, that popped up over on the other side. I'll just bring it over. And you can see here that all of the list that I see when I'm in Dailies is here, right? I see practice reminders, today's overview, and then I see my Desktop 1, Desktop 2. You'll notice that when I click on Desktop 1 or Desktop 2, my Edit feature over here is not active. That's because these are truly designed to be dashboards that come by default, not really designed to be modified. But that's okay, because all you have to do is hit the New button, and you will see this screen. So you're telling Amicus, I want a blank slate. I want to create a new dashboard, and I want to design it the way I want it to work for me. Remember, this is user-specific. So your neighbor in the cubicle next door can do the same thing, Office, Preferences, Dailies, Dailies Pages, New, and design a dashboard that is specific to them. Okay? So what you do in your Dailies affects only you. So when you click on the New Dailies option, you will get the opportunity to say, Add a Dashboard Page. And this is really what we're going to focus on with our time today. You can say, create my new dashboard based on an existing one. So if you like 90% of what you see in the Desktop 1 dashboard that comes standard, you could create a new dashboard based on that one. If you just want to start from scratch, give me a blank canvas, I'm going to paint this the way I want, then you would select from a blank page. So add a dashboard page from a blank page, and then you need to name it. So I'm going to call this Jennifer Ramus Dashboard. If this is the dashboard that you always want to see when you go to your Dailies module, then say, make this page my default Dailies page. This does not mean it's the only Dailies page you can access. It just means it's the first thing Amicus will show you when you go to the Dailies module. Everything we do in Amicus, at least from my perspective, I am the master of minimizing mouse clicks. The more efficient I can be, whether it's from reducing the amount of time I spend toggling back and forth between modules or making things default that I need 90% of the time, fewer keystrokes and fewer mouse clicks equals greater productivity. So I'm going to make this my default Dailies page, and I'm going to hit OK. Once I hit OK, I am taken into what's called the Dashboard Designer, and you'll see that in the top left-hand corner of the screen. I'm in the Dashboard Designer, and then I have the name of the dashboard that I gave it when I clicked on the New button, and it said Jennifer Ramus Dashboard. This is my canvas, and now I get to design a dashboard that works exactly the way I want to work. It's important, though, to note that there are many dashboard options. And I'm going to go through, before I even put anything over here on my canvas, I want to be clear about all of the different types of things that you can put on a dashboard. On the left-hand side of your Dashboard Designer, these are your options for the types of things you can put on your dashboard. The first category of options is called List Views. Okay? List Views right now is expanded. And if I want to close this list, I can simply activate a different list down here, like Summary or Add New Items. But let's talk about the list views. I can have a list of today's to-dos, or a list of today's outstanding to-dos, today's appointments, today's outstanding communications, just unread communications, time entries, unposted time entries, my favorite files, my favorite people, and firm directory. Those are probably fairly self-explanatory. So let's say that on my dashboard, I want to see the appointments on my calendar for today. I'm going to click on today's appointments, and when I bring my mouse from the list over to the designer, it's going to turn into a plus sign. I simply click my mouse, and I have now dropped the today's appointments list on my dashboard. I can put it wherever I want. I'll just line it up here in the top corner. And if I click off of it, it's now on my dashboard. Let's say that I also want to see my time entries for today. I'm going to click on today's time entries, and I'm going to drop it on my dashboard. I want this to be a little bit bigger because I want to make sure I can read the file and read more of the description of the time entry. And I'm going to line it up. You'll notice when I get close to another item that's been dropped on my dashboard, I get a little line connecting them. That's just a visual to help me keep things neat. And any of you on the call who know me will know that having these things lined up perfectly is a little personality flaw that I have. So I will line that up perfectly here. And I'll probably even shrink it down here so it's the same level at the bottom. Now, during my design, I might want to see what this looks like in real life. So remember that when you are in your dashboard designer, at the bottom of your screen, you have a button that says Preview. The preview is fantastic because it will actually take the data that would appear in your dashboard and show it to you in the preview so you can really see how it will behave. So if I click on Preview, I am now in a separate window called the Dashboard Preview. I'm not in the designer anymore. I'm in the preview. And I can see here are my appointments for today. I have a light day. And I can see my time entries. When I'm done looking at the preview, don't be confused because your preview will often appear and then you'll see these buttons down here at the bottom that say Preview, Save and Close, and Cancel. These buttons are for your designer that is behind this preview screen. To get out of the preview, you simply close the X. That will take you out of the preview. So I'm in the X in the top right-hand corner, and it will take you back to your designer. So I've decided that I want today's appointments and today's time entries on my dashboard. The next type of item that you can put on your dashboard is called a summary view. So I'm over on the left-hand side of my designer, and you'll see that I have a category called Summary Views. I simply click on it. It closed my list view options and opened up my summary views. Summary views are different from lists because they are, in fact, a summary. So I can have my outstanding communications, my time statistics. So here I have today's time entries as a list, but if I want to see my time for the week, the month, or the year, that's a summary, and I could put my time stats here on the page as well. I might also want an easy place to go and access all of the stickies that I've received today. I can click on Stickies Received Today, come over here, and drop it. The next category of items that you can put on a dashboard are the Add a New Item views. I've clicked on Add a New Item. It closed my other options, and now I am looking at New Item views. If I want to be able to add a new appointment, a new to-do, a new time entry, or a new sticky right from my dashboard, then I would drop one of these over here. So I'm going to put new time entry on my dashboard. Okay? And again, new appointment, new to-do, and new sticky are also new item options that you can put on your dashboard. The next view or type of item I can put on a dashboard are called tools. Things like the clock, the date display, so just today's date, a mini calendar, the Amicus date calculator, a basic search, or the ability to run a saved search. I love, love, love the date calculator, so I'm going to put the date calculator on my dashboard. And you can see now I'm starting to use up a lot of the real estate on my dashboard. But remember, you can resize things. You don't want things so tiny that you can't use them, but you do have the ability to, resize things to make them make more fit on the page if you so desire. I'm going to talk about some of these other options here later on. I want to talk just real quickly about other views. Other things that you can add to your site, to your dashboard. You could add access to a website or a URL. You could add access to Windows Explorer, or you could even have it run a program. So let's say, for example, that I do not use an independent document management program. I just have a shared drive on my server where all my documents live. I could tell Amicus I want a view into my Windows Explorer shared drive to go right here. So I would pick Windows Explorer. I would come over here and I would drop it. Now, this screen will pop up because Amicus needs to know the location for Windows Explorer that you want it to display. So I could click here and then just tell it where on my desk, where on my computer I wanted it to pull from. If I drop a field on a dashboard and I decide, you know what, I don't think I want that, with it selected, I can just simply hit my delete key and it'll go away. I can also use the web or URL. So I'm clicking on it and then I drag my mouse over to the dashboard and I drop it. And once again, I get these section attributes. Maybe I want this area of my dashboard to take me to the Affinity Consulting Group website or the Amicus Attorney website. I could then say, here's the section title, which is what appears here, and I can change that to whatever I want to change it to, and I can type in a web address. I'll hit OK, and now this gives me, I'm going to make this a little smaller so I can neaten things up a bit, and this gives me a view into the Amicus Attorney website. So I'm still in my designer. I've added a lot of stuff. Let's preview it and see what it looks like. So I'm in my preview. I don't have any appointments today. Here's my time entry for today. Here are my time statistics. Keep in mind, these items are dynamic. They work from inside the dashboard. So I don't want to see this month. I want to see this week. Oops, I'm not doing too well this week. Let's see the year. Oh, you know what? Include my unposted time. Now show me this week. Oh, that's better. You have complete control, and you can actually use the feature from the dashboard. Here's my stickies received today. I need to enter a new time entry. I can do it from right here. I pick the file, the category, the billing rate, and I type in my time entry. Here's my date calculator. Again, it works right from the dashboard. So if I need to know 28 calendar days after today, I can run my calculation and get my date. And then you'll see here, this is a small area to use as a view into a website, but because I put the www.amicusattorney.com website in the section attributes for this part of the dashboard, this is the Amicus Attorney website right here. And I can click on things inside here and it will take me there. So, sometimes firms will say, well, I can't think of a website that I would want to have access to from my dashboard. IRS.gov forms website. The court that you deal with 90% of the time, a link to where their local rules show up. A directory, if you're in a government organization or you are the legal department for a corporation and you have a company directory that's online, that's a perfect type of URL or link to use here. Think outside the box when you think about dashboards. And I think this is maybe my next slide, but when we're talking about what do I want on a dashboard, think about what you do all day. What things do you access all day? How many times do you toggle to a different module in Amicus to do something? Take those things into consideration as you map out your dashboard. because if we can keep you in one spot working throughout the day for the majority of what you do, you're going to recapture time that you could be doing otherwise billable things. So again, I'm in the preview, so I'm just going to click on the X in the top right corner to get out of the preview mode. I'm back to my dashboard designer, and I think I'm good. I like this. So I'm going to hit Save and Close down at the bottom. I've just created Jennifer Ramus dashboard, save and close. Takes me back to my preferences screen. I'm going to hit OK. Now when I go to dailies, there's Jennifer Ramus dashboard, and there it is. So hopefully that gave you a little bit of insight on the types of things that you can put on your dashboard. I want to talk just briefly, though, about some design considerations. And what I mean by design considerations, if I could get my PowerPoint back over there we go. Again, most frequent actions. But use also what I would consider an efficient design. One of the things that I haven't mentioned yet that I'm going to talk about as we go back into the dashboards is that your list view, those lists of time entries and to-dos and appointments, actually serve a dual purpose. They're so dynamic and so powerful that from the dashboard, I can right-click on my list of time entries and say New. I can add a new time entry right from that screen. Your summary views do not give you that access, that option. And so I tend to say, and this is just a personal design preference, I tend to say use list views whenever you can, because you can do a simple right-click to add new instead of taking up space on your dashboard for the add new option. Let me show you what I mean by that. I did this on purpose. On my dashboard example, I put in the list of today's time entries, and I also put in the new time entry option on my dashboard. From my dashboard, with my mouse clicked in the today's time entries, right-click New, and I get prompted for the file I want to bill, and then there's my time entry screen. Now, time entry shows up right here because this is updating instantaneously. This is just a view into your timesheets module, effectively. I also have the new time entry screen on my dashboard, which means I can click on the file, and again, I apologize, these are popping up on my other monitor. I can pick the file. Oops, sorry about that. I can pick the file that I want, and I can type my time entry in right here. Now, this is an example, and I did this on purpose, of using your preview a little better than I used it, because with the new time entry on my dashboard like this, I can't see my duration. I have to scroll down to it and then hit Save. So for the new time entry screen, if you decide to use it on your dashboard, make sure that you size it appropriately so that the whole purpose of putting it on the dashboard for quick access isn't counteracted by the fact that you have to scroll to get to what you need to see. So this, again, is just a design preference. I would rather save this real estate here and just simply right-click and say New on my time entry list. Again, just a design preference. Since I'm in the right-click option from the time entries, I also want to point out that you can do some other things from the dashboard. I could open this time entry. I can hit New, which we've already seen. If you are linking with an accounting program, I can post from right here. I can print. You know, we're trying really hard to encourage people to be paperless, so hopefully we're not printing time entries, but if you need to, you need to. I can delete if I have security rights to delete records like this in Amicus. So consider the efficiency of using list views in your dashboard when they can replace a add new item option. Stickies received today. There is no right-click New Sticky from the Stickies received today. And that's because Stickies received today was not a list view. it was a summary view. So you may want to add new sticky as an option on your dashboard, because I cannot accomplish that by right-clicking on a summary view. So I've made some decisions here. I've used my dashboard. I like the appointments. I like the time entries. I want my time statistics. I need to resize time entry, or maybe I just need to get rid of it because I like to use the time entry right-click, and I need to add new sticky. How do I edit an existing dashboard? Office, Preferences, Dailies pages, select your dashboard, oops, crazy mouse, select your dashboard, edit. And I've decided I don't want new time entry, so I'm deleting it. But I do want send new sticky or add new sticky. So where would I go to get add new item? I go here on my left-hand side, new note or sticky, and I'm going to drop it right next to stickies received today. I've also decided that I don't want the web page view here. No offense to Amicus Attorney, I'm just using this as an example of some alternate things you can do. So I'm going to delete that, because I want to point out something else that you can do, and that is something called Run Program. If I want to be able to launch Word, Excel, Adobe, PowerPoint, some program from my dashboard, I can. I'm going to click on Run Program. I'm going to drop it here. My section attributes will show up here. I'm going to call this section Word. Oops. And down here under Data Source, Run Program, I can navigate out to the executable file, or if I know it, like winword.exe, I can just indicate to Amicus the program that I want to run. You don't really need to have this very big because it doesn't display a lot of information, so I'll leave that kind of small. I'm going to go ahead and hit Save and Close. OK. Come back to my dailies, and now I have, oops, that didn't update for me. Let's just, there we go. I'm back at my dashboard, my appointments, my time entries, my time statistics, stickies received today. Here I want to send a new sticky. Who do I want to send it to? Well, I'm going to send it to myself so you guys can see what will happen. And if I want to link the sticky or the note to a file, I can by clicking right on the file index button right here. I'll add it to the Aladdin purchase file. And here is my really important sticky. Send. Now, this popped up on my other screen. There's my sticky. Just going to close it. And then in just a second, when my tutorial refreshes, that stickies received today will show up here. How does this cool little feature work? I want to launch Word. I'm just going to hit the Open button. And it's just opening Word for me. So I can launch a program other than Amicus. Now, I want you inside Amicus for almost every single thing that you have to do. But I need Word sometimes. I might need Outlook or what have you. But I launched Word right from inside the Amicus Attorney dashboard. It's about recapturing wasted time, bouncing around to different parts of the program. Now, it's very important to remember that dashboards are user-specific. So if you are a secretary or legal secretary or paralegal that supports a lot of different people, you may still need to go to the Amicus calendar and look at your default calendar profile for the attorneys you support. You may still need to do things like that, but dashboards can really be used to help you as a user maximize your efficiency when you are inside the program. And it's okay to have more than one dashboard. You might have a dashboard that you call, calendar and to-do dashboard that is just things you need to do. It's your appointments today, it's your to-dos today, it's a separate list of to-dos that are overdue, it's outstanding communications, and you might have one for time entry where you have favorite files, time entries, time stats. You can create as many dashboards as you need to manage the work that you need to do. I don't recommend having, 10 dashboards, because then I think you've sort of defeated the purpose of a dashboard. You have fewer modules over here than that. You could just go to the actual module that you're talking about. But I think 1 dashboard, 2 dashboards can really improve the efficiency with which you navigate through Amicus. And it gives you quick access to information that normally you needed to do several clicks to get. Let's use time statistics as an example. Let's say I come into Amicus and I'm logged in and I'm in my office view, and I think to myself, oh, I wonder where I am for my time today. Timesheets, statistics, and I'm here in my statistics screen, which takes a second in my tutorial to load up, and then I can change the view that I have. 3 or 4 mouse clicks depending on what I want. But if I have that dashboard set as my default daily, 1 click, and I see the information. You might not think that 1 click saves you that much time, but 1 click 100 times a day times 10 or 15 or 20 or 50 people in your firm, that adds up. Not only that, we are always seeking ways to make our jobs easier, not because we're not hard workers, but because most law firms have maxed out the capacity of their employees, right? The economy changes. We're trying to do more work with fewer people. And if I can give you the tools that you need to get more done in the same amount of time, we need to take advantage of that. Don't waste time jumping around a program when you can spend 15 minutes or less. Yeah, 15 minutes a day will save you. I'm a Geico commercial now. But when you can spend a very small amount of time creating a dashboard that gives you instant, quick reference access to the things that you do all day long. The webinar format for our course today puts you guys sort of in a listen-only mode, but I am happy to answer any questions that you guys have about dashboards. If people would like to see another example, another design, you can certainly submit that as a question. I'm happy to put a couple of additional examples out there for you. But I believe Jody's going to read any questions that may have come in during the session.
Thank you, Jennifer. Yeah, we do have quite a few questions. I will read them out to you. The first one is, what method, email, stickies, or other, do you recommend to communicate among firm members, and may that be added to the dashboard?
Well, that's a loaded question because from a consultant's perspective, I don't have a general answer for that. I would need to know more about the firm, the type of practice area, if you have document retention policies that impact internal emails, whether your practice management data is something that you have dedicated as attorney work product. So there's a lot of other things that I would ask. But I would say that I have a lot of firms that communicate with stickies because it's a fast, easy way to do it, and I can associate that note or sticky to a file. So I am always a proponent of communicating internally about a case from within Amicus Attorney because I think it is easier and more likely that that internal communication gets saved to the file than when I communicate via email. That's just sort of a out in the field, watching people use it type of situation. I like to help people keep the size of their Outlook inboxes under control. So I'm an Amicus user. I use Amicus for every single thing that I can do. So if you're going to use stickies, I would say put the new sticky here. But if it's something you decide, no, we really want to use email to communicate, then I would probably put my firm member list here. And I would open up the internal contact from my firm member list that I wanted to. Let's go to desktop 1. I think that's here. Because if I double click on a firm member, say I want to send an email to Lindsay Dole, if I open her up and I click on her email address, Amicus is going to launch me into my new email screen. I can tell it what file we're going to talk about, and then once I hit the open button down here, it's just going to launch Outlook for me. More steps, but it's really just a matter of your preferred method of communication. the other thing to keep in mind when you're determining the best way to communicate internally about a case is to consider the file and how information, communications are displayed in the file. Because if I communicate internally via stickies, those communications are going to appear on the notes page. If I communicate via email, those communications are going to appear on the communications page. So if you say to me, well, I want all of the communications, both internal and communications that I have with opposing counsel and my client, any email to be all together, then you'd probably make the choice to communicate via email. I don't know if that answer helped. There's just a lot to consider, and I don't have a blanket recommendation that I always give to firms. Other questions?
Okay, the next question. Can you put the month view of your calendar and the month view of your timesheet on the dashboard?
The month view, you know, I've not tried to do that, so let me just check while we're on the call here. I probably should know that off the top of my head, but I'm not embarrassed to admit there are things that I learn every day about this great program. So let's go into my dashboard. And this is going to be, today's appointments. And when I go to the section properties, there's really no way to change it to the month view. So you can see a calendar month by putting the calendar on, but you can only list today's appointments on your dashboard. And if anybody from Gavel & Gown is on, and if I've misstated that, I'm happy to be corrected. But my answer is today's list is the only list available.
Okay. The next question is, can you put an embedded view of Outlook in the dailies page?
You guys are stumping me today. No. You can put Outlook as a program you want to run here, but you have an embedded view of Outlook in your communications module. I am not aware of the ability to put the embedded view of Outlook into the dashboard.
Okay, next question. Can you put a link to specific documents that you have in a client file on your desktop?
In your Windows Explorers, let's see here. Yeah, in the Windows Explorer option, if I come in and say I want to add Windows Explorer, one of the things that I am able to do is to point to the location. So if I go in here and I, navigate out to my, I can't. The demo system doesn't like it when I do this, so I don't know if it's going to let me or not. You can link out to the folder that contains that document. I'll have to follow up and find out if you can link to a specific document. I don't believe it's going to let you drill all the way down to a document. I think it's only going to let you drill down to a folder level.
Okay. I use the task module a lot. How can the dashboard be used to maximize this module?
Well, the tasks module really takes the to-do list to the next level, because the tasks module gives you the ability to see your tasks from a different perspective. So if I go in, let me start with the to-do list in case, for those people who might not be as familiar with the task list. When I go into the calendar, I have my to-do list over on the right-hand side, and this represents to-dos that are for this particular day that I'm on. But I don't see things that are due. I don't see things that I haven't put on my to-do list for today. I don't see things that I maybe delegated to other people. So the tasks list gives me the ability to see things I've assigned to other people. It gives me the ability to see more information about the to-do. I can say, show me a more detailed view, which includes the priority, the title, the file, the category, the deadline. It allows me to say, you know what, I just want to see to-dos that I've assigned to other people. And so this is not a list that is easily included on a dashboard because there's so many dynamics occurring behind the scenes. So when you are in your dailies, when you're in your dashboard designer, everything that you have here is really specific to the user. So because the tasks module, in my opinion, is often used to help see what other people are doing that you've assigned to them, it's really not possible. These are like when you're in the file and you see, you know, my communications, my events, my, etc. These are really my. You know, these are things that are assigned to me only, and the only option that you have from a to-do or task perspective in the list is just today's to-dos and today's outstanding views. The new perspective on viewing those is unique to the tasks module and can't be turned over into the dashboard designer.
Great. Okay, do dashboards appear in Amicus anywhere?
I apologize because I don't know the answer to that.
Okay, we will follow up on that after. Can you please show us again how to add Word access on the dashboard?
Sure. So Word access is one of the options that are considered other views, and I pick Run a Program. So if I drop Run a Program over on my dashboard, I'm going to get this screen here called Section Attributes, and you know, we'll call it Word. You can pretty much leave all of this stuff alone. It's just what color do you want this title to be and that sort of thing. The data source is always going to be Run Program, and then if you know the name of the executable, like, you know, winword.exe or outlook.exe or whatever it is, you can simply type it in here. If you don't know the name of the executable, you're going to click on the button here to browse out to your network and find where the executable lives, which is different depending on your firm's setup and what your where your IT professional puts things. But a lot of times it's in users, your name, app data. You know, you'll have a Microsoft Office folder. You literally navigate to where the executable file lives on your local machine. Here's a trick though. If you're not certain of where it lives, you can close out of your dashboard and you could go into your preferences and go into your document assembly options, because 9 times out of 10, the location of your Microsoft Word executable will be in your document assembly preferences. Because a lot of times we don't know where those things are, right? We're just users. We came in, our computer works, we double click on Word, it opens up. I don't know where it's coming from. But if you're using Amicus for document assembly, you will see your path here, and so you can copy that out and put it over in your dashboard. But I just happen to know what some of those executables are called, so I can just type it in to that field. But again, you know, that's on your dailies page. If you want to add that, just open the page back up. That is the Run a Program option under other views, and I can either type in the name of the executable or I can navigate out to where the executable lives on my network.
Great, thank you. There's a couple more questions we're going to go through. Will a larger screen allow more items to appear on one dashboard, or are they limited regardless of the screen size?
Well, I am using a pretty big monitor, so you know your dashboard designer is going to be relative to your monitor no matter what. You know, it takes resolution into consideration. You're really not going to know a perfect answer to that until you start designing and go to your preview. Because if I were to even drag this designer over to my other monitor, it would naturally resize, and it wouldn't look very good. So I mean, I'm happy to actually switch my screen so you guys can see what it did. You know, I drug this over to a different monitor, and here's what it looks like. Well, that's no good. So, you know, my recommendation is that you design on your largest monitor and you plan to use the dashboard on your larger monitor so that you can get the most out of the dashboard.
Okay. As the managing attorney, can I have a window for time stats of other timekeepers in my office?
The things that you put on your dashboard are at the user level. So this is your time, your unposted time. This time stats, these are your statistics. So that is not something that you can put on your dashboard.
Our firm is fairly new to Amicus. Would we be able to add the company's G Drive as an element on the dashboard? The G Drive is where we hold all of the firm's clients here in the office.
Absolutely. You would use the Other Views Windows Explorer option, and when you dropped it and you got your section attributes, you would simply navigate to wherever the G Drive lives. So, you know, I have all these drives. But if I do that, I would have an option for that right here on my dashboard. That question, though, leads me to want to clarify something. You don't build a dashboard that you push out to the whole firm. So if having the G Drive on your dashboard was a requirement, then every user would have to build their dashboard and be sure to use Windows Explorer, point to the G Drive, as one of the elements that they included on their dashboard. Dashboards are user level. They're user specific.
Great. How do you make a person/file a favorite?
Oh, good question. Let me get out of here. Let me see if I can. I might have choked it because I was trying to do too many things at once here. So I'll talk through it while the demo system catches up with me. When you are in your file list or when you are in your contact list, you're looking at the index, you highlight a contact or a file and you can right-click and say Add to Favorites. It's that easy. You can right-click, you can highlight multiple files, multiple contacts, and say Add to Favorites. You might decide to go through your contacts and show only contacts in a particular group, then highlight all of them and add them to favorites. So you can absolutely do that. Only during a demo does this happen to me. You can absolutely do that. So you just right-click on any contact or file and say Add to Favorites.
Okay. Can you look at someone else's appointments on your dashboard?
No. Dashboards will only present your information. So appointments assigned to you, to-dos assigned to you, your time, your stickies, it's user level.
Okay, and one other question. What if you are in the cloud and not on your local desktop?
So I believe that's the same as, that's pretty much the same as the Amicus Anywhere question, and we have to find that answer out because I don't know off the top of my head. I just can't remember.
Okay, and we have one final question that just came in. My colleague wants the same dashboard I have. Can I copy or forward my dashboard to him?
I do not believe that you can.
Then I will add that to the follow-up questions, and for anyone who did have a question that wasn't completely answered, please feel free to contact me at JSHAFFER, that's J Schaefer, at amicusattorney.com, and I'd be happy to follow up on any questions you may think of after the fact as well. Thank you again, Jennifer, for a wonderful presentation. We hope everyone found the session informative and useful.
Thank you, Jody. If I could just add one closing comment. I'm really grateful that Gavel and Gown asked me to present this topic. I'm actually happy that people stumped me with some questions because I feel like that means you guys were all engaged and paying attention, so that's exciting. But I also want to point out that, I am one of many certified consultants for Amicus Attorney, and when you have a resource in your consultants, and it doesn't have to be me, I'd be thrilled if it was, but you can go to the Amicus Attorney website and you can say locate a consultant, and you can enter your state, and you can find somebody who has mastered this program and can really help you and your firm, maximize the benefit that you get out of Amicus Attorney. It is more powerful than you know, even if you've used it for a long time. And there's no better investment, in my opinion, than knowing what you own. So, go through, attend these webinars, find a consultant, invest in training, and use every piece of this program because it is very, very powerful, and you will see a maximization of your profitability by taking advantage of the things that it has to offer.
Thank you again, Jennifer, and have a wonderful afternoon.
Thanks, everybody.